Hi there, my name is Steven, and thank you for joining me this evening. On this channel, I explore some of the most infamous true crime stories that I believe the world should know. And today's story is one such story. Building relationships with influential people can sometimes appear enticing, offering a lifestyle filled with luxury and opportunities that may not be presented to us in our everyday lives. Nevertheless, these relationships can also carry significant risks and dark aspects that we don't think about. Today's story is a clear reminder of how a life linked with powerful people can swiftly turn dangerous. This story continues to trouble Malaysia, not just because it's an unresolved case, but also due to the negative impact it has had on the nation's image to the world. This is the case of Shaariibuugin Altantuyaa. Shaariibuugin Altantuyaa was born in 1978 and spent her early years in St. Petersburg, Russia. When she was 12 years old, in the year 1990, the family moved back to Mongolia. Although not much is known about her upbringing, Altantuyaa was remembered by her relatives as hardworking and outgoing, as she enjoyed going on gatherings and events with her friends. At one of these events, she met a man who would ultimately become her husband. He was a famous individual named Madai, who was a well-known singer and part of a band named Kar Sarnai. They fell in love and started their relationship in 1996 when Altantuyaa was 18 years old. She did not seem to mind the publicity or the interest from newspapers and magazines that accompanied their romance. Around November 1996, Altantuyaa enrolled at Otkontenga University, known for its emphasis on business and language studies. There she gained attention as the wife of a celebrity, but she left the institution in January 1997, unable to finish her studies. The director of the university, Orlom Kurul, mentioned that her leaving was due to her pregnancy and irregular attendance. Altantuya's connection with Madai was publicly celebrated as wonderful. Nevertheless, the situation at home was very different. After their child was born, their marriage grew problematic as Madai's band gained fame, demanding he perform shows across Mongolia, which left Altantuyaa alone to take care of their child. This made her feel ignored and deserted by her husband, resulting in numerous arguments. Ultimately, the couple separated in 1998, and Altantuya's parents were awarded custody of their son. As her friend Oina noted, Altantuyaa had long dreamed of becoming a successful model. She always dressed in trendy and stylish outfits, even for casual events. This might be why she relocated to Paris around the year 2000 to study modeling, eventually getting a certification in modeling. She entered the fashion industry by working with a business that imported clothes from China. Being multilingual, she was skilled in languages such as Russian, English, Chinese, and a bit of French, which inspired her to start her tourism company while also working as a translator. Additionally, she took advantage of her modeling certificate by securing part-time gigs. However, Altantuya's mother did not support her daughter's choice in pursuing modeling. Her efforts in both modeling and the clothing business led her to meet her second partner. She quickly formed a strong bond with S. Kuniku, the son of a famous Mongolian designer somewhere in 2003. From this relationship, Altantuyaa welcomed their second child. Unfortunately, this marriage also ended not long after. They divorced just after 2 years. Similar to her first relationship, custody of the child was given to Altantuya's parents. Both of Altantuya's children were raised by her parents. Based on what her teachers and parents said, Altantuyaa was a lively individual who worked hard to enjoy her life. She was both lovely and hardworking, as well as smart. Unfortunately, her ambitious journey came to an unexpected end when she got involved with the Malaysian government. Altantuyaa was recognized for her frequent travels, which included trips to China, Singapore, Malaysia, and Hong Kong. Some reports suggested that she was an escort in Hong Kong, although this has been difficult to confirm. However, it is known that in 2004 she participated in an international diamond convention in Hong Kong. During that event, she met the then Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia, Najib Abdul Razak, who introduced her to his colleague, the defense analyst from the Malaysian Strategic Defense Center, Abdul Razak Baginda. The details of Altantuya's connection with Baginda remain uncertain. She did provide translation help from Russian to English since she was fluent in both languages. In March 2005, Baginda took Altantuyaa on a trip across Europe that seemed to have some romantic elements, marked by fine dining and upscale hotels. The trip also functioned as a business journey to France for government and military matters that Baginda was managing. In 2002, the Malaysian government had made an agreement with a French-Spanish firm named Armaris. It was reported that Armaris had sold 3 military submarines to the Malaysian government. Moving to 2005, Baginda, as a Malaysian security specialist, had to return to the company to negotiate further aspects of the agreement with Deputy Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak. Altantuyaa also joined them. She used her French skills to aid Baginda during the talks. In discussion with Armaris, it was suggested that the Malaysian government had to pay 1 billion euros for the submarines. To support the deal, Armaris then transferred a commission of 114 million euros to Baginda. This agreement was accepted, and the large commission was sent to the bank account of an organization named Perimakar, which belonged to Baginda. Later, Baginda assured Altantuyaa that she would receive a portion of the money when it arrived. After their trip to Paris, the relationship between Altantuyaa and Baginda reportedly ended. Altantuyaa returned to a home in Mongolia, while Baginda headed back to Kuala Lumpur. Even though their relationship ended, it was believed that Altantuyaa was expecting Baginda's child. Besides a pregnancy, her cut of the commission also turned out to be a lie. Altantuyaa found out that Baginda was not giving her any money despite what he promised. Feeling betrayed, she went back to Kuala Lumpur with her cousin Burma Oyinchimek to confront Baginda. However, her request for him to keep his promise was rejected. Altantuyaa refused to give up. She started showing up outside Baginda's house, supposedly making a scene to get noticed. She began threatening Baginda, claiming she might take her own life or reveal the corrupt dealings he was involved in. There was only so much Baginda could bear until he finally ran out of patience. After her disruptive actions outside Baginda's house, the police took Altantuyaa into custody. As she was taken to the police station, she tried to report the questionable deal. She demanded $500,000 US from Baginda and a plane ticket to go back to Mongolia. Once more, her request was turned down, and Altantuyaa was cautioned not to press this issue any further. On October 18, 2006, Baginda got in touch with his colleague, Special Branch Director Musa Sefri, about the ongoing issue he was having with Altantuyaa. The next day, around 9 p.m., 2 special branch officers, Azila Hadri and Cyril Omar, showed up at Baginda's home. Outside the residence, Altantuyaa was reportedly shouting insults and calling for Baginda, who was not there at the time. The 2 officers received their orders, which was to deal with the woman. As the night went on, Oyunchimek started to feel anxious since her cousin had not come back home. Altantuyaa had sent Oyunchimek a text message earlier that day, saying that if she was missing for over an hour, Oyunchimek should immediately look into Baginda. Feeling that something was wrong, Oyunchimek went to the police and requested help from the Mongolian embassy in Bangkok. She also sought assistance of a private investigator, Ang Chombang. About 3 weeks after Altantuyaa vanished, the police found an important clue. On November 7th, after receiving a confession from Azila Hadri, they went to the site where he claimed the body was disposed of. Their search met with success as they found scattered human remains in a forest reserve close to the Subang Dam in Puncak Alam. The remains were sent for investigation and identification, and DNA testing confirmed that they belonged to Altantuyaa. A forensic expert stated that the autopsy showed Altantuya's body had been destroyed using C4 explosives, which were commonly used in military operations. The investigations advanced efficiently, and witnesses were quickly interviewed. This resulted in the October arrest of Chief Inspector Azila Hadri, who was implicated in Altantuya's murder. A few days later, on November 6th, Corporal Cyril Azhar Umar was also taken into custody for questioning. Despite his attempts to hide his involvement in the murder, Abdul Raza Baginda was arrested the next day on suspicion of being the mastermind behind the crime. A confidential report from the Malaysian police was later released in November 2006, detailing a horrifying account of Altantuya's last moments and her murder. Based on Cyril's account, when Altantuyaa became aware that the men were armed, she started to beg for her life, pleading for mercy because she was with child. Nonetheless, Azila forcefully pushed her down and shot her on the left side of her face. After she collapsed, they began to undress her and stuff her clothes into a plastic bag. They realized that she was still alive when they saw her hand moving. So Azila instructed Cyril to shoot her once more, which he did, and she died after that second shot. The two men later moved Altantuya's remains to a forest for disposal. The precise motive of their actions is uncertain, but they decided to eliminate the body using explosives. Azila strapped explosives to her legs, torso, and head. After everything was said, they disintegrated the body of the Mongolian woman. With the confession and discovery of the body, it was time for the culprits to be held accountable. On November 15, 2006, Azila and Cyril were indicted at the Shah Alam Magistrates Court for Altantuya's murder. On the next day, Abdul Raza Baginda faced charges at the Kuala Lumpur Magistrates Court for aiding in the murder. Altantuya's family was determined in their fight for justice despite facing possible risks of being silenced by the government officials. The trial related to the murder of Shaariibuugin Altantuyaa commenced on June 19, 2007. During this time, Najib faced public criticism regarding his link to the victim. However, he asserted that he had not been acquainted with Altantuyaa. Oyunchimeg and other witnesses were asked to give their testimonies. The courtroom was tense as images of Altantuyaa in Paris were shown as evidence. Oyunchimeg verified that one picture depicted Altantuyaa enjoying a meal with Najib and Baginda. Baginda was found not guilty on October 31, 2008, as there was insufficient proof to back the allegations against him after nearly 2 years of trial. The High Court rendered a judgment concerning the offenders on April 19, 2009. Chief Inspector Azila Hadri and Corporal Sirul Azhar Umar were declared guilty of the murder of Shaariibuugin Altantuyaa and sentenced to death by hanging. Both individuals appeared visibly stunned by the ruling. In his defense, Cyril asserted that he was being used as a scapegoat to protect his superiors. He maintained that he never meant to harm the woman and only followed orders. The murder of Altantuyaa sparked significant debate in Malaysia and drew global interest. Initially, a blogger named Raja Petra alleged that a trustworthy source had informed him that Rosma Manso, Najib's wife, Acting Colonel Abdul Aziz Buyong, and his wife were at the murder site on October 19, 2006. All three individuals strongly refuted these claims and took legal action against Raja for defamation. The next issue raised involved connection between Najib Raza and Altantuyaa. As per Baginda's private investigator P. Balasubramaniam, the police did not disclose any intimate relationship between the Deputy Prime Minister and Altantuyaa during their trip to France. Bala also suggested that Najib appeared to be trying hard to avoid being implicated in the matter. After making these public remarks, Bala suddenly retracted his statements and went off-grid. His lawyer and family could not reach him. His residence was broken into, leading to his disappearance along with his wife and children. Some suspected that he was fleeing to another country to escape Najib. He later resurfaced, claiming that he had received threats from Najib and his associates. Unfortunately, Bala passed away from a heart attack in March 2013. Abdul Raza Baginda rejected any claims of being involved in or planning the murder. He asserted that Altantuyaa had been extorting him for money related to personal issues. He explained that he only employed the officers for his safety, asserting that the blame for Altantuya's death rested entirely with Cyril and Azila. Baginda also dismissed the suggestion that the killing had any ties to the submarine deal. Throughout the legal proceeding, it seemed that certain media outlets might have been swayed or influenced by powerful individuals who damaged Altantuya's reputation. She was branded as a prostitute, criticized for being pregnant out of wedlock, and depicted as a spiteful gold digger. It was heartbreaking for those who cared for her to see her image tarnished this way. Subsequently, it was disclosed that Altantuyaa had also written a note addressing her problems with Baginda. In this letter, she acknowledged her rashness in blackmailing him regarding their dealings and in threatening to end her life. Besides the betrayal regarding finances, she was also shattered by Baginda's broken promises and change of attitude towards her. She realized that his feelings for her had faded, yet she could not control her emotions. The vicious murder of Altantuyaa left an enduring impact on her family. Altantuya's family also mentioned that they have never received a public apology. To me, this case proves that people in power can even influence the direction of the law. It is possible that Azila and Siru were scapegoated. What do you think? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and have a good night.